What is up, everyone? So today I'm doing a range test on the Hyundai Kona EV. Now I've already filmed this car in its entirety, so you guys can check that out in my description below. So this is just gonna be focused on how much range I can pull out of this battery. So we're gonna get started. It's gonna be me, my wife, and my dog. We're gonna have a good time. And right now I'm just topping off the car. That way we start this trip at 100%. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the car is done charging. Let me go ahead and put this back on. There we go. Now, if you guys want a faster version of this video, this is gonna be me showing you every detail about this trip. If you want a faster video that's gonna just show how much range I got, basically, go check out the video in my description. It's on the Ride Tech News channel by Kelly Blue Book. That is the other channel I contribute content to, but I'm gonna go ahead and see what the range is right now. Now this is rated at 258 miles. Right now it's showing 285. Now that's already an incredible start. There you go, you guys can see the full battery. So here's how I'm gonna drive this. I'm actually going to put it into, we have 3 drive modes: normal, sport, and eco. I'm gonna throw it into eco because it doesn't sap as much power as you guys would think. It's actually a pretty good responsive feel, and then sport is just, you know, super crazy because it's instant torque. So eco is going to be great for most people. Eco on this car is the equivalent of like sport for most vehicles, believe it or not. So throwing in eco, I'm going to put it on cruise control. We are going to make some stops, and when we do make stops, I'm going to record that as well. So it's me and my wife, and then my dog, this sweet girl. So yeah, let's go ahead and get going. Okay, everyone, I don't know if you can see me right now, but we just got to Los Angeles. So we drove from, I think we're in Mission Viejo, if I pronounced that right. And it was about a 52-mile trip. So here's the trip monitor. And we drove 51.2 miles. I've been averaging almost 5 miles per kilowatt hour. If you guys saw my review on the Audi e-tron, the most I got in that was 3 miles per kilowatt hour, which was not very good. And we still have 244 miles remaining. So if you do the math, that's closer to 290, which is above what it said. And that is extremely impressive. But we're gonna keep driving, see how far we can get. My wife is getting burritos right now at a place called Sonora Town in Los Angeles. So if you guys have never been there, you gotta come check it out. It's delicious. But anyways, once she gets back in here, we're gonna eat and then we're gonna go. Are you ready? All right, everyone, so now I'm hopping on the 5, which is interesting that everyone in California says the. I just moved here, so coming from Texas to here, we just say I-35, and over here it's the 5, the 405. Anyways, all that's irrelevant to this video. I am getting onto the highway, and just so you guys know a little bit more about how I've been driving, cruise control has been my #1 friend just this entire trip. So right now, speed limit's 65, and I have it set to 68. So now the car is going 67. It always tends to stay 1 mile per hour below what you have it set to. So, you know, I'm always staying above the speed limit, and I can even really get over 1 lane because the slow lane tends to be too slow, but I'm not gonna hop in the fast lane just because there's always someone going faster than you, and you know, I'd be easily hitting like 75 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour over there. And at that point, it wouldn't be efficient, and the whole point of this test is to test how far this can go in pretty normal driving. And once again, the cool thing about efficiency is if I were to give it some acceleration, it's still very instantaneous. Now obviously sport is just another level, but this is still good. The e-tron, whenever you put that in efficiency mode, it just saps all of your throttle response. You have to go like 75% on the accelerator just to get it off the line. This is not the case. You have all the acceleration you need right at the top of the pedal, and so that is why I'm choosing to go in efficiency, and it's just a best case scenario right now. But it rides good. The cruise control works well. It does brake a little hard for me sometimes. I like the screen. It's just very easy to reach. We have Apple CarPlay, but the cool thing about Apple CarPlay is, as you guys can probably see, I have Apple CarPlay on this side, but then on this side of the screen, it's showing me how much range I have left, my battery percentage, and it shows me my nearby stations, which is really cool. Sometimes they're really random spots. So right now it says Nissan of San Juan Capistrano. Obviously I would not take this to a Nissan dealership to charge it. It would just be weird, awkward, and it's probably like a super slow level 2. Now with charging, the fastest this can charge is 50 kilowatts, which is pretty slow. To 80%, it'll take about 45 to 50 minutes, somewhere around there. Actually, I think it's 54. The exact specs will be here on the screen for you guys. I get all these numbers confused, but it takes almost an hour basically. And I would like to see this with, you know, 100, 150 kilowatts in the future, just because with my experience on the e-tron, it is nicer to have that 25 to 30 minute charge time, and it really does make a huge difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in sport. I'm gonna hit cancel on my cruise control, and I'm gonna get over to the left. So if I wanna pass this truck, all I gotta do is blink over, bless you, honey. Thank you. Accelerate, and there we go. I mean, that is plenty right there. A lot of get up and go. So right now, as I'm driving, 132 miles we've driven, 167 miles left. I don't know if I'm gonna deplete this battery before the end of the day, so this may have to be a 2-day deal, but either way, let's go ahead and keep driving and see how far we can get. All right, so we just got back to my apartment out here in Laguna Niguel, and my dog probably needs to go back home because this is doing a lot better than I thought, which means we will have to be driving a lot more than I thought. So looking right here, we have traveled 112.8 miles, averaging 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour, and we have 183 miles left. So that is putting it a lot closer to like 300, and it just seems like it keeps going up, which is pretty insane because 300, that's, you know, even above 300, that is like Tesla Model 3 territory. And so I'm really interested to see how this will do in the long run. So I'm going to keep going until this thing's zeroed out and see what exactly I can get. But I'm going to go ahead and take my dog inside. Okay everyone, so just a quick update on what's going to happen now. So we've driven for a total of 3.5 hours. It's about 4 o'clock right now, and we're in Laguna Niguel. So right now we're gonna go through Dana Point. We may go to San Juan Capistrano, somewhere around there. We're basically gonna make our way around to local towns near here. And we're just gonna keep driving until we get close to needing to charge. That's really all I can think of. And the crazy part about this, no one would ever drive this much in one day, obviously. But this is good to know for people who live in an apartment, who don't have the capability to charge at home. How far can you really drive this thing until you have to stop and charge? And then of course, how much a charge is gonna cost, how long it's gonna take, and things like that. So we're gonna find out all this stuff once this battery dies, but I'm really curious to see what this gets to because it's looking pretty good right now. But anyways, let's keep driving, and yeah. All right guys, the sun's going down and the Kona still going strong. But I know this isn't the full review because once again I've already done that, but let's go ahead and take a quick look around this thing. It's pretty good looking. I do like the tail lights. Everything looks good. Now as far as storage space is pretty decent, as you guys can see there. Now you don't have a front trunk because it's kind of sketchy being on the side of the highway, but you do not have a front trunk because this doesn't utilize a skateboard platform. Now, getting inside where it's a lot quieter. Here we go. All right, so here's where we're at right now. 154.2 miles traveled. We've been driving for about 5 hours total, which is nice because it shows how much time I've actually spent behind the wheel. And yeah, 5 hours today. 144 miles remaining. So I'm still surprised it's getting close to 300. You guys, if this hits 300, I need y'all to smash that like button. I'm not trying to hit 300. I'm just driving like normal. And yeah, it's doing incredibly well. And here's a quick look at the interior whenever everything's starting to light up. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Your heated, cooled seats, heated steering wheel. But yeah, it is a shame that this is literally all plastic right here. But the sound system on here is pretty good. There's your head-up display. Oh, sorry. This will focus for me. Yeah, it's not working too well. There we go. So, head-up display right there. And then your gauge cluster, once again, we've seen that plenty of times. Everything just looks, pretty good at night, especially when it's lit up. And I have my interior illumination here, and it's pretty much maxed out. But yeah, let's go ahead and get back on the road. We're probably going to go ahead and head to dinner. It's going to be about 44 miles to get there. So that'll add another 44 to my trip monitor. Let's go ahead and head there. Okay, so it's been an interesting day. We started off in Mission Viejo. We drove from there to Los Angeles. From Los Angeles to Laguna Niguel, and Laguna Niguel to Dana Point to Rancho Mission Viejo, and now we are in Irvine. And then from here, we're gonna go just another 25 minutes, I believe, north to have dinner, and then we're gonna go back to Laguna Niguel. And by the looks of it, I still should have battery left. But once we get to our food place, I'll update you guys again, and then I'll update you once we get home. And depending on what I'm at once we get home, I may just keep it going and just keep seeing how far I can go along, because this thing just continues to impress me with every single mile. And the cool part is that the way the range goes down is very reassuring. You travel like a mile, and let's say if it said 165 miles remaining. You travel a mile, it still says 165, and it usually takes about 2 miles for it to drop 1 mile on the computer in there. So that's always a good thing to see. It really makes your range anxiety almost completely go away. And this has been a really good experience, a lot better even than I thought. All right, everyone, so we are back in the garage, well, the carport here at my apartment complex. And so walking up to the car, we just got back from dinner with 2 good friends, and that was in Brea, California. I think I pronounced that right. But anyways, let me shut this door. All right, so let's see what we're looking at right now. 239.5 miles traveled, getting about 4.6 miles per kilowatt, so it did go down. Now it is nighttime. It took us about 38 minutes to get back, and I think it's using up more power because all the lights are on, headlights are on. I could have turned the fog lights off, which I didn't even think about, but and then just everything is illuminated, and so I'm sure that uses a lot more energy. We still have the AC on. We put on heat this time, so that probably sucked more energy as well. But we still have 60 miles left, so that's looking at like 299 miles, which once again, that's still incredible. It looks like I'm going to surpass the 258 very easily, and my wife took the key, so that's why it keeps doing that. But yeah, that's it for today. I'm going to get some sleep, wake up in the morning, and drive it again until I have to charge it. So thankfully tomorrow will not be as long of a day. also just to see how long I've been driving today. It has been 8 hours of driving today. Oh my gosh. But this is just for you guys. So please hit that like button. Subscribe if you like this kind of content. Okay everyone, so I just got to San Clemente. Now, I forgot to charge my GoPro last night, and so it's charging in the car, and while it's charging, I'm gonna go grab coffee at some place over here called Bear Coast Coffee. It's supposed to be pretty good, but here's an update. I drove from Laguna Niguel to San Clemente, and it looks like, let me brighten this up a little bit, 39 miles remaining, 267.3 miles traveled. So I'm already over what the EPA says this will get. I'm well over what the EPA says this will get. So that's already an extremely good start. That's super impressive. And for the money, I think that this is really looking like a better and better deal each mile I go over that EPA. But let me go ahead and grab some coffee. I'm gonna go hang out on this pier for a little bit, probably about 10 to 20 minutes. Wait for this to charge. That way I can get you guys some better footage as we keep driving. Okay everybody, so my camera is charged. We are about to leave San Clemente and I have 37 miles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to drive near the Electrify America station where I plan to charge this. But I'm just gonna drive around the area until I feel comfortable enough pulling over and charging. So I'm gonna try to get on the highway again, and then definitely I'm gonna do some around town driving after that. And we're just gonna see how this goes. So we're gonna time lapse it up. You guys are not gonna believe where I am right now. I'm literally on the side of the road because the car died. It died on me at 299.9 miles. There's like a battery symbol, and yeah, I mean the AC is still running, so that's cool. I still have cold air, and that's great considering it's getting hot in this car. But yeah, I'm literally like on this shoulder. But at least I have Hyundai roadside assistance on their way to get me, so I don't have to pay for a charge. Or I don't have to pay for a tow, but they're gonna charge me to the, tow me to the charging station. Sorry, I cannot talk. But yeah, guys, so that's how far I was able to drive before it just straight up died on me. Yeah, so I thought I could make it. I'm literally like 2 exits away from the charging station, so the irony is just absolutely insane right now. But I'd say you could safely drive this about 280 to 290 miles. But if you go any further than that, once again, depending on how you drive, you are going to be in the same position I am. But I'll update you guys once the tow truck gets here. All right, so I climbed to the top of this hill. There's the Kona. My gosh. Be sure you guys hit that like button because I'm literally going all out for this video right now. All right, so we're off the tow truck into the parking spot. I'm gonna charge it with the EV Go. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. So the power steering was out, so I didn't have any power steering. Everything I had to just muscle it on the way here. But once again, it's glad it still goes into neutral. And lets you coast. So I'm gonna go ahead and charge it. All right, you guys, we have power. We have power. Let's see. I'm literally at 0%, so there's no reason this shouldn't be closing in on the max kilowatt charging speed. So we're at 38 kilowatts right now. All right, so it did go up to 40 kilowatts, and it's saying an hour and 13 minutes to 80%. About 41. Come on, you gonna go up a little bit more? It's deciding. It's doing a weird little dance. All right, you guys, so you're probably wondering what's going on. Well, allow me to explain very quickly. So once I got towed to the station, I was only able to charge this to about half because I actually had plans later that day. So I didn't have time to sit there and wait for the whole thing to charge. I didn't even have time to sit there and wait until 80%. So that's not a huge deal because I really wasn't trying to see how long it took to charge anyways. I just wanted to charge it to full so that I can see what this projected number was. But I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I had this idea and I thought I would show it on video. Now, I am at an Electrify America station. I'm at a 150 kilowatt charger. Now, this can only charge at 50 kilowatts. But I'm curious if I plug it into 150, if it'll still max out at 50 or if it'll do more than that. I'm also not sure if it's good for the battery. So yeah, I guess we're going to find this out together. But I think it would be interesting to see what happens. So I figured I'd throw it into the video, and then we're still going to find out what that predicted range is going to be once I fully charge. All right, so the car is finished charging now. I was able to see 55 kilowatts as like the max, but it never really went any higher than that. And I really just did this to show you guys that I actually drove the mileage that I drove. So now it's saying 294 miles of estimated range, obviously based off of how I drove and things like that. But let's go ahead, wrap this video up, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Okay, everyone, so to wrap up the video on the Kona Electric, it's super exciting that it can actually go the 258 EPA estimated mileage. I pretty much could have driven in normal just without cruise control, and I'm pretty sure I still would have gotten the EPA estimated range. Now remember, 80% of the time I was driving with 2 people in the car. 10% of that was with this one, and then the other 10% was just me. If I would have driven just myself, in normal mode, I probably still could have gotten over EPA, and driving in the efficiency mode, I probably still could have gotten above the 300, I'm assuming. Now, once again, this was almost as close to being ideal conditions. I mean, I live out here in Southern California. The temperature's like in the 60s, 70s, and so, you know, it wasn't like cold weather or anything, which will obviously affect the battery and how much range you get. I didn't have to use any heat. And then technically, you know, I didn't really have to use AC at all. It's like 66 to 67 degrees. So I could have technically ran it without AC, but, you know, no one's really going to do that. I didn't want to go bare bones with the car, so that's why I made sure the AC was always on. Made sure that I was driving above the speed limits, because let's face it, no one ever drives exactly the speed limit. And once again, having more people in the car and just making sure the test felt as more realistic as possible. And then of course, driving in efficiency mode was because I really wanted to see what the full capabilities of this vehicle were. And also, like I mentioned, efficiency mode doesn't make it feel like you're driving a turtle. It has way better response than like the Audi e-tron, for example. And it was just a lot more of an enjoyable experience to drive in efficiency mode. It really felt like you were driving like a normal gasoline car in sport mode. That's how efficiency feels. It's great. So anyways, you guys are probably wondering, should you buy a Kona Electric? Well, in terms of electric cars, that is around a $46,000 car, still gets the $7,500 federal tax credit, which means it comes out to around $38,500, which is about a little over $1,000 less than a standard range plus Model 3. Now that's if you keep the Model 3 just completely stock. That's without autopilot. With autopilot, you're like in the mid 40s, and they don't get the federal tax credit anymore. So then you have that to think about. But the Model 3 handles better. It feels a lot more premium than the Kona Electric. You get the over-the-air updates. You get the rear-wheel drive skateboard platform. You get more space because you got the front trunk. You have a big rear trunk with the storage space. It really depends on what you guys want. But if you want a vehicle where range anxiety almost really doesn't exist, I was very pleased with how well the Kona Electric held on to that range. And remember, that's a 64, 65 kilowatt hour battery pack. The Tesla's using a 50 or 55 kilowatt hour. It's still more efficient, but I'm so impressed with how efficient this Kona Electric is, and I think that Hyundai secretly just made one of the closest competitors to the Tesla Model 3 that I have yet to drive. But thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I do tons of versatile content, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next review.